One Belazo.
Oh, see now, woman, hope.
This is
Kumposa ngapha. Mina bengikhuluma la nto kwi-baby jack izo. Ngawutshengisa ama-message. Esithi ngizaka-23 siyawuza. Bani? Ngani mina? Ukazi ngikhulumela ikhala. Ethi khona phana wena likhuluma nge-baby. Moto waqoqa ngami wapha. Mina umpikisho wakhe ngiwukhangele abantu abakhe. Yimi ukuyindoda yakhe. Wahambe egoli.
Right. It's not used.
Let's pray. Almighty God, as we come before you this new year, we call on you to bless this council and all who are engaged in the work of local government in our city. Grant that we would order all things in wisdom, your righteousness and peace, to the honor of your name and to the good of your people who dwell in our city. Amen. Good afternoon, councillors, acting town clerk, members of management, and the Fourth Estate. At the outset, I haven't seen most of you this new year. I wish you a very happy new year. May it be a peaceful, prosperous, and productive new year for everyone and for our city. And I'm sure that you join me in wishing all the residents of our city the same. Councillors, as you know, and last year, at the end of last year, a workshop was held in Masvingo, and at the conclusion of that, it was agreed on a new vision for our city to take the city through to 2030, the next 5 years, the 5-year plan. And that vision has been termed that we wish our city of kings and queens a smart and sustainable city by 2030. As we all know, it's very easy to say these things, to come up with slogans. It's another thing entirely to actually put that into practice and to deliver on that. And the reality of the last slogan, if you remember, smart and transformative city, was that in many respects, if we're honest with ourselves, the city was not smart and transformative, with residents facing water shortages, the roads being in worse condition. And so that is now our challenge, because we've got no one else ourselves as we move into this new era. It means that we have new technologies into our governance systems. If we're going to be truly smart in the next 5 years, then it is critical that our accounting systems, our payment systems, our housing waiting lists be readily accessible. It is critical, for example, that our website be a modern website, an interactive website that truly portrays the glories of our city to its full extent. Because we will be judged by that technology and how we present it to not just our own residents, but other people in our nation and potential investors and potentially tourists who come. There are other challenges, as we know. We have challenges regarding our roads and street lighting, and I'm pleased about the plans that we have to install solar-powered street and traffic lights as we harness solar energy as part of the sustainable development project. And we hope that through that we can significantly reduce our dependence on the national grid and save resources in that regard. We also have very ambitious plans regarding taking our city into an environmentally sustainable position. That is part of being smart, is all about in this modern world with climate change. And you are all aware of the very ambitious plans to be planting up to 5,000 trees per annum. My personal hope is that we will be planting indigenous trees, not exotics. And to do that, we need to have the growth of nurseries and young people embracing the need to develop indigenous trees. We've made a start in Centenary Park. One of our goals is to have these indigenous pocket forests in each one of the 39 wards right across our city, and that it's not just about growing trees, It is also about educating our young people regarding the benefit of indigenous trees, their medicinal value, and in that way, hopefully inspiring a new generation to embrace that in truly a smart and sustainable way going forward. As I said just now, one of the dangers of having slogans and catch-all phrases, and even one of the dangers of having long-term development plans like this, is that we lose sight of the very definite and specific goals that we need to achieve every year. One of my concerns about the strategic planning exercise was that many of the goals are so broad as to be vague. What does it mean to improve our road system? What does it mean practically to deliver water? And in that regard, it is critically important, if we're going to achieve that 5-year goal, that we have short-term goals, and very definite short-term goals which we can judge ourselves on, but also the public can judge us. And as we start this year, I want to challenge us all by some very specific goals that I hope that we can achieve this year of 2026. Firstly, on water, we know that despite the fact that Dr. Anxious Masuka set up the Water Technical Committee now 2 years ago, which produced very specific recommendations regarding the upgrade of the Nema pump station and the rehabilitation and upgrade, for example, of the Insiza pipeline and the Mchabez to Umsingwani pipeline, the upgrade of the Tuli reservoir. We know all about this. The Future Water Committee, month in, month out, produces reports in that regard. And yet the reality is that that has not happened. And our goal, and it needs to be our absolute priority this year, if we have not got NEMA, at the very least, work started on upgrading the Insiza pipeline, if we have not got the diversion, the Mchabez pipeline diversion started, if we have not started on the identification and procurement of the pipes, of the pumps rather, that need to go from Nema to Tuli reservoir, if we do not have the plans for the Tuli reservoir by the end of this year, we will have failed on this critical goal. And so I urge all of us, it's a collective exercise, that on the NEMA clearly set out by the Water Technical Committee, irrespective of what clearly set out by the Water Technical Committee, irrespective of what happens elsewhere, that needs to be an absolute priority. That needs to be an absolute priority. And achieved meaningful end of this year, we will have failed. Tied to water is the perennial issue of Glass Block Dam. You know our collective frustrations. To the African Investment Forum in Morocco in December 2024, we have spent an entire year arguing about clauses in legal, and the reality is that that project is no further forward. We will be judged harshly by future generations if we do not have work started on it this year. It needs to be a very specific goal, in my view. We're not going to complete it, but if we don't have work out at Glass Block with contractors actually building that dam by the end of this year, we will have failed. Let me touch on Gwashangani in that regard. And I need to restate this for ourselves and for the benefit of the Fourth Estate and those who are watching today. We are grateful to government for the work I personally made by the Minister of Finance, allocating 200 million ZIG to the finalization of the Gwaishangani Dam. And that is wonderful. But the reality is that the pipeline is the bigger engineering project. The pipeline is going to cost at least 400 million US dollars, not ZIG, US dollars. And last year, 2.5 million US dollars was allocated by government to the pipeline. Do the maths. Divide 400 by 2.5, you will see that at that rate, it's going to take decades to get Gwaishangani actually delivering water to our city. So we urge government, we're very grateful to government for Gwaishangani. We urge an increase in the amount of money allocated to Gwaishangani. But in the interim, we look forward to an integrated work program working closely with government to complete glass block dam. Sanitation. As we all know, there is a waste management tender process which is currently going through. A variety of companies have put in their tenders for that tender process. It is critical that we of contracts in that regard, so that we of what is going on at Ngozi mine, which, as I've said time and time before, is a real wound in our side. It is a disgrace that that situation continues. Tied into sanitation, Egodini has been floundering. That is the reality of the last few years. We are told that Egodini is now on track again. We need to see meaningful progress in Egodini. And likewise with Bakta. We need to see work progressing on Bakta. There are many other issues that we as councillors, I'm sure, each of us know the concerns that we have, for example, regarding the ward retention fund, and the fact that very few of us have managed to spend our ward retention funds. I hope by the end of this year, every single one of the wards, I beg your pardon, 29 wards, will see the ward retention fund actually implemented. That needs to be a tangible goal that we all together with management aim for. I don't want to go on, but I just want to stress that unless we have these tangible goals for this year, we are in danger of kidding ourselves that we are making progress, that we are actually delivering on service delivery to residents. As I conclude, let me come back to the issue of water. We're very grateful to God, I'm sure, for the lovely rains that we have had so far. But I'm sure that you will join me in expressing deep concern about the state of our dam levels. I was reported on, I received a report this morning, for example, in Yankuni, as of this morning, is still sitting at 16%. 16%. In Caesar at 45%. We have a major problem. And we need, in the course of this year, to get to grips with this. Why is it that there is such limited outflow? This, in my view, is an existential threat to our city. And if we don't work collectively to get to the bottom of this, we can build more dams, we can have wonderful rainy seasons, but the issue of water will continue, of water being a problem. So let us work, I hope, together collectively as one, irrespective of our backgrounds, irrespective of the political parties that we serve, irrespective of whether we are councillors or management. These are major challenges that we face. And I believe that we will only overcome those challenges if we work together as a team. So I commend these thoughts to you, and I trust that we will have a vigorous and productive meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Councillors of the City of Bulawayo, senior management, external stakeholders, gentlemen and ladies of the Fourth Estate. Your Worship, the legal question being confirmation of minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 3rd of December 2025 and the special meeting held on the 2nd of January 2026. Attached as Annexure A, pages A to L. Thank you, Your Worship.
Do we have a proposer for those minutes? Thank you. A seconder? Can we approve them? Approved. Thank you. Right, item Chair of Future Water, ma'am, would you present your report?
Your Worship, I know that the report of the Future Water Surveys the Water Action Committee meeting held on the 2nd of December 2025 is submitted. We received the various recommendations for them to be adopted.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that? Thank you. Any debate? What item? What item? Third. Three? You have the floor, sir. Is there anyone else? Item 3. Item 7. Okay. Item 4. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Greetings to fellow councillors and everyone in this august house. Allow me to apologize for having missed the 2nd of January meeting. We had committed to traveling out of town, some of us. It meant that on the 1st we were to travel across. So I want to emphasize this so that it is driven home that we do not despise City Council, special council or full council meetings. We're out of town, so the 2nd of January meeting was not possible for some of us. 2 times, Your Worship, in your preliminary remarks, you have spoken to a matter that is very close to my heart, the issue of water for Bulawayo. I'm sure it's an issue of concern to every other citizen and every other stakeholder in this part of the country, particularly Bulawayo residents. I'm talking to item 4, where we are talking about water conservation. I think first of all we need to give credit where it is due. I want to acknowledge the department for having improved water recirculation, particularly when the festive season started. We saw an improvement in the water supply, and also acknowledge that the water shedding, which is a demand management strategy, it was reduced from 130 hours to 96 hours. We acknowledge that, and we actually got a lot of praises. And most of the residents acknowledged that there was an improvement in water supply. But however, I think it's early days yet. You did refer to the rainfall having given us a bit of inflows. I think it's early days yet for us to really take concrete action more than just reducing the water shedding period cautiously. We need to monitor it closely to ensure that we do not run out of water. We are aware that there are efforts to improve Bulawayo's economy. The business committee is very busy trying to ensure that there is re-industrialization of the city. Everyone else is busy in terms of trying to make sure that Bulawayo develops. We are seeing a lot of new communities coming up, and that speaks to water demand, which must supply the residents of the city of Bulawayo. I want to stand here and then urge caution as we move forward. I want to urge caution so that we are careful not to get overexcited and then lift up the restrictions. We need to cautiously monitor the rainfall so that we do not get into a crisis. The other point which I want to raise is looking at the Future Water Committee report. Broadly, it is dealing with reticulation and inward operational issues. But when it comes to future water, as the name of the committee states, I think we need to see a lot of emphasis on additional dams. We need to see a lot of emphasis on underground water aquifers, like it was discovered that in Kulumane Mkanweni has an aquifer. We want to see a bias. Fine, it is very good, and I saw it that also in the report, the Special Counsel also spoke to Bulawayo water rehabilitation initiatives. The expression of interest, they were looking at that. That is fair and fine. But I think that the bias should be more on additional, not only glass block, but more reservoirs, more underground geological survey, so that we can ensure that Bulawayo has got a guaranteed and secure source of water. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. First and foremost, allow me to say Happy New Year to you, to the management and councillors here present. It is my prayer that 2026 award us an opportunity as the leadership of the city of Bulawayo to value cooperation over a conflict, because the problems that we are having as a city, I believe they are bigger than individuals and the institutions of political entities that we are coming from. So it is of my view that this year we need to have a different approach as a leadership of Bulawayo. We put our people first and their demands. Your worship, I would like also to thank the committee for ensuring that they respond to the crisis of water in Bulawayo. I observed that the water load shedding was lifted. It is a sign that there's a new approach towards addressing the water challenge in Bulawayo. I pray that he whosoever is running that department be remembered and be promoted when time comes. But I note that this council made a resolution to prohibit external connections of water. It's a standing resolution, but when I was reading this report, I observed that in item 7 there's a government institution which applied to the city of council to the city of Bulawayo to be connected in our water system. And the committee recommendation, they were given that a green light to connect. But on item 8, there's also another individual who also had the same request to be connected. That request was denied. Now I'm wondering that when we are making resolutions, when we are making laws, are they applied impartial, or they are uniform, they affect everyone? Because we cannot be an institution which observe laws, but when we come to application of it, we select on based on who applied. And I think it's a wrong precedence that we are setting as a city. Therefore, I want to recommend that the committee must relook on that issue. If they are giving everyone, if they are actually breaking the resolution of this council and giving everyone an opportunity to connect amends, let it be uniform to everyone. And if they are denying, let it be uniform. It cannot make sense that the same report has 2 items requesting for something, but 2 different answers. It brings questions to the public and to the people that we are serving. So I was suggesting that if it's possible, if the committee has to relook on that issue so that it comes back with a clear answer on whether they are awarding these two people the same privilege or they are denied as per the resolution of this council. Thank you so much.
Councillor, can I just seek clarification, because you wanted to speak on item 7, and that refers to the application for Zonara to get a water connection.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you are opposed to that?
So there's item 7 and item 8.
Okay.
So item 7, Zinara is requesting to connect.
So you're not opposed to that?
I'm not opposed.
Okay.
Item 8, Mr. Dog is requesting to connect. But item 7, Zinara has been given the permission. Item 8, the client, I don't know who, has not been given the permission. So I was saying, as per the standing resolution, that clearly states that we are not taking external connections until the water situation of Bulawayo is stable. But Zinara has been, our resolution has been broken, and Zinara has been given that a privilege. And on item 8, that individual has been denied. So I was saying, as an institution which follows law, we cannot apply our law impartially. It has to be uniform, and we need to respect the resolutions that we make as a city.
Is there further debate? Can we move the report? Madam Chair, do you want to respond?
Ngiyabonga Nkosi. Ngizathanda ukubonga ama-councillors abakhulume ngeripoti yethu, particularly uCouncillor Ndlovu akade ebonga laphana, bese ngisithi siyabonga lathi ukubonga, kodwa-ke i-council operator in committees, Councillor Ndlovu, not in departments. Bekumele ubonge i-committee, i-chairperson le-committee yakhe. Nxa ubonga i-department usuphambanisa indlela. Bengisithi laphana siqondisane in future. Bese ngisithi ama-projects ethu othi kumele sikhulume nge-future water. Kule table item 5, if not mistaken, ecela imali ku-committee ye-finance ukwenza ukuthi amanzi ikusasa lamanzi akobulawayo libe lihle nxa i-committee ye-finance ngasinika imali. Ngiyabonga Nkosi.
Thank you. Can we move that report? Thank you. Madam Chair of Health, please, would you? Health and Housing.
Thank you, Your Worship. Compliments of the use.
I want clarity, Your Worship. What are we moving here? Are we moving a custom on contribution to the report that it be invested and sent back to the committee, or are moving the report that you are asking? We need to provide that.
So my understanding is that on item 7, he's not opposed to that.
Yes, I understand.
Right.
But when if you read the report, item 7, Zinara is agreeing the report. Mr. Law is denied. And Bruce is talking, Councillor Monsor, Councillor is talking to consistency. And he's saying, it can't be that as a city, someone asks for seats and is given. Another person asks for seats, is denied, and the seats are still there. And he is therefore saying, can we practice consistency? And he had some propositions that he made.
Ending.
Yes. So I say,
Councillor, a point of order, you should be standing. You have the floor. Thank you.
Sorry. And I'm saying, as we are moving, what exactly are we moving? Are we moving his submissions?
No. So let me respond to that.
Yes.
No one else supported him in that. There was no one who said we second, and to that extent, his view has been expressed, but it doesn't change the resolution.
No, but it's also your good office, Your Worship, that is supposed to guide that. Because tomorrow, we are going to set this precedent on the basis of a technicality. I remember some other time we moved the motion here, and the same thing obtained. It went through, and when we inquired, Joe said no one had moved it and accounted it. So I don't think you are setting a good precedence when we debate issues and allow them to go through on the basis of technicalities.
So I'm just going back to that. Our procedural problem is that we've already moved this now, but yeah. So let's go back to 8. So I take it, councillors, that you have all studied item 8. Councillor, you have a point?
Thank you very much, Josh. I think the problem is as policymakers, also when you're contented of debating, you express displeasure or you support. But in the end, you are supposed to say, I therefore, I move in the second. So that is what is the because the limit was just really that debate. So in the end, policymakers should let, I therefore propose or move, and the policymakers want second. Then it becomes a resolution. Thank you.
Well, that was what thank you, Councillor, that's very useful, but that was my point, that Councillor Moyer spoke, nobody second, there wasn't a resolution. But let's go to the merits of this, Councillor, if I may. Have a look at item 7. This was an application for someone to tap into our major pipeline. It wasn't to tap into water after Criterion or after Tuli. It was to tap in prior, if I understand this, prior to the water getting to Criterion, prior to it getting to Tuli. Is turning down such an application in fact bad policy? My view is no, it's not. And to that extent it's sustainable. I hear what Councillor Moyo is saying, that we need to be fair, but I think that you'll find that there are very few applications to tap into water prior to it getting to Criterion. I think that your policy applies more to residents who live within the boundaries of the city. There's no way that this application could be regarding a property which is within the city boundaries, because both Tuli and Criterion are right on the outset of our boundaries. If I'm wrong in this from a technical perspective, please correct me, but I don't think I am. Madam Chair, would you like to comment?
Yeah. I'd like to propose that we will back to the committee. Okay.
Is that your vote?
Yeah, not the whole report.
The whole report.
7 and 8.
A lot of people worrying. Yeah. I think that is appropriate. I've just been advised that apparently there are a lot of people in Warringham who live outside the city boundaries who do get access to that water direct. And to that extent, Councillor Moyer's point is valid. I think the only satisfactory way we can handle this, my own view, is that we refer that particular item back to receive general support. Thank you. So subject to item 8 being referred back to the committee, can we move the report? Yes. Thank you. Madam Chair of Health. Madam Chair.
Thank you, Your Worship, and compliments of the new season to this August House. I move that the report of the Health, Housing and Education Committee meeting held on the 4th of December 2025 as submitted be received and the various recommendations contained therein be adopted.
Is there a seconder? Thank you. Any debate? Which items?
Item 1.
1? 7? Okay. 2?
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I want to speak to cleanliness in the city. I noticed that the department is doing excellent work in terms of our weekly collection of solid waste management. They are sticking to that timetable. And we have our ward sweepers in our respective wards. They are doing excellent work. We also have clean-up campaigns that we occasionally hold in separate wards. But here is my biggest concern, Your Worship. The levels of littering appear to be increasing. There is heavy littering, particularly in the CBD areas, the marketplace. Despite all these awareness campaigns, the education, the cleanup campaigns, there is heavy littering, which poses a risk to health. And I think that there is need for us to come up with resolution mechanisms to deal with that. We have done a lot of awareness, we have done a lot of teaching, but apparently our people don't seem to understand. Just yesterday we were watching some films and watching some pictures showing piles and piles of garbage which has been done. I think we need to revisit our city bylaws. If it means the applications to ministry, if they are there and they are in the process of being promulgated, I think we need to apply pressure. Because some of us have engaged, some of us have researched, some of us have consulted and found that the biggest problem that we have is that we are too lenient in terms of our penalties. We need to relook at our penalties so that residents become afraid of dumping. For as long as we continue in this state, I think we are going to have a health hazard in the city. Thank you.
On the same item,
Your Worship.
You have the floor.
Your Worship, I will repeat what I said in the last full council. This Bulawayo belongs to everyone who lives in it. All of us, even the visitors, as they put up here, they live in Bulawayo. Even those visitors that sleep under the trucks and in aisles and the practice open defecation by the aisles. We cannot have a city, Your Worship, that has people behaving like in the old age, even in rural areas now, people use lead toilets. And government has forced everyone to have a toilet by his homestead to keep, among other things, diseases, and of course to promote cleanliness, and also to bring modernity closer to humanity. I don't understand how, Your Worship, we are kept being told that we must provide decent places for vending when people are practicing open defecation and they are allowed to do as they please and do this with reckless abandon everywhere in the city. This is honestly unfair.